There was this time when I thought I was actually losing my mind due to my environment. Like my home was so messy and out of control, and I felt like I was just drowning at all times. I began struggling with my how to keep my space and how to stay on top of things when I was a kid. So when I was an adult and I started working and doing all of the things, it became even harder to stay on top of my home. But I had this idea like I had to keep it perfect all the time. So I was like stressed out about my house all the time. Some of you probably don't know, but in September of 2020, we became like kind of a safe haven for two precious little girls. And then their baby sister was born in February of 2021. And we brought her home from the hospital. And then from that point, things changed and we were able to work on adopting the three girls. So here I was, smack dab in the middle of the pandemic. I have not three kids now, but six. And I am homeschooling the two of the kids. And it was just, there was no possible way that I was getting everything done. Like I just went to sleep so bone tired and I woke up feeling the exact same, and I worked constantly. Like there was no sitting down, especially once the baby came, of course. Something that I've discovered having kids is the more unorganized and dysregulated I am, the more they are too. I have had freakouts about the state of my house before, but this one was just like above and beyond. On this particularly bad day, I wake up from not a lot of sleep and the kids are immediately going, you know how they are in the morning, and they're like running around, they're just having their best life, and I can feel the pressure building. Like I can feel my like anxiety and irritation and just like I can't live like this anymore. It's about to explode. I can feel it, but there's nothing I can do. There's no break that I can have in order to get myself regulated again. So we had been having this ongoing battle about socks. All of the kids would take off their socks or whatever, and they would just throw it on the ground. And it wouldn't really bug me if it was like a hoodie or something like that, but socks was like really it just started to stick with me. Why won't they these are dirty socks. Why won't they just put them in the dirty clothes? So on this particular day, when I'm highly dysregulated and I'm a hot mess and I haven't had any sleep, I come from putting the baby down and I see that they are on the table. There are 3 pairs of dirty socks on my table. Okay. So I call all of the kids down to talk to me about this. And when they got down there, I'm like, why are there socks? And I'm not like yelling because the baby is asleep, which was good, but I'm like obviously furious. I'm like, why are these socks down here? You guys can pick up after yourself, da 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 da. And then I'm looking at their faces, looking at me like, oh no, why are you mad at us? It's just socks. And then I start to hate myself for being so mad. And so then I start to cry. And then I start to sob. And then I just lay on the floor and I just have a full blown, I don't know if it was like a panic attacky, like I've lost myself for a minute. I was just sobbing on the floor. And they're like beside me, like patting me, hiccuping. And I'm like, Mommy's fine. Mommy's just having a bad day. I'm sorry that I yelled at you. Please put up the socks. And so they did. Anyway, so that night I was just like overcome with guilt about, like not having an organized home, not being on top of it myself so that they could know how to be on top of it, not handling the sock debacle in a more mature and cool way. And just in general, like just feeling constantly defeated by my house. It was late and I should have been sleeping, but I did what I always used to do, which was I would get on YouTube and pull up one of those YouTube accounts that's like, get everything done in one day, like massive cleaning, those kinds of videos where, this like perky, healthy, beautiful lady is like cleaning her whole house and there are no kids around. And I was like, everyone could do this. But that's how I used to like kind of gas myself up. So I could be like, okay, I'm going to get some motivation. I'm going to go clean myself. And then all of a sudden it occurred to me, like, are you kidding me? Like your thought process is that you are going to clean this whole house all the time with all of these responsibilities and all of these kids and the way you feel with your autoimmune diseases. Like, who told you you had to do this? And then I realized it was just like subtle programming from like movies and social media and stuff. And then I had this thought, like, what would happen if I actually, instead of making like these giant to-do lists where I have 22 things on them and each 22 items has like sub items, what would happen if I just wrote a to-do list with the very basic things on there that I need to do? And I was just kind of struck with that. I went to sleep, I thought about it, and then I kept thinking about it for a couple of weeks, and I started toying around with that idea. And then that's actually what became adaptive cleaning, because I made myself a low capacity cleaning list for the days and like weekly items and stuff. And then that really worked very well for me. So then when I started to have more of a capacity, I made it an average capacity one. And then I had like a couple of times where I was at high capacity, but I would just not really know what to do because I had all this energy and I like point me in the right direction. So I needed a list to keep me on track. And that's how that whole thing started. And then I started doing deep cleaning stuff per capacity. And it just really changed my life because I stopped expecting myself to do absolutely everything in that season of life. And I just started to respect what I actually could do. And that was, man, that was transformative, because the more I was kind to myself, the more I actually worked within my own boundaries, the better I felt. So that was so transformative that that's what I started sharing on social media. I was sharing other content and then I just pivoted. I'm like, people have to know about this. This is crazy. I wanted to tell you guys this because some of you may be newer to my content, or some of you may think, oh, well, she just has like the energy or the organization, or she, this is easy for her. It's not. Like, I hate cleaning to this day, but now I do so very efficiently, and I do what I can, and then I let go of the rest. I love sharing this stuff with you because once I got to a place of peace with my home, I was able to feel like I could actually live my life. I was so much more present, and I want that for you too. I put out a ton of free content, but I also offer coaching. If you are in a position where you're like, I've tried a lot of things and I really just need someone to do this with me, I offer that. And I think that it's like kind of an amazing way of doing it, because we will both look at your house. You can show me around like on Zoom, or you can send me pictures. And then we just look at the spots that you're having trouble with. If that's every single room, we'll look at every single room. If it's a couple of spaces, we'll look at those spaces. But we talk through what's going on, what you're struggling with, what some of the bottlenecks are. And then I will, on my own time, make you this customized plan so that you know exactly what to do in these different spaces. And it's not just cleaning stuff. Like if there are ways of organizing or decluttering or things, we talk through like what you actually need certain things for, so that you can actually really create a totally new space to fit your needs. It's super effective because you know in your heart how you want your home to function. And from knowing to getting there is so hard on your own, especially when you have all of the other everyday life things going on. Sometimes you need someone who's going to say, okay, this is how you do it. And I'm going to support you. And we're going to talk through how to get this done. And it's just, I don't know, I've seen so much success with the people that I've worked with. And I know it's easy to sometimes think that you cannot do this, but you can. You just need someone who's compassionate and who knows exactly what you've been through, who can kind of help guide you. I will say that if you want to do one-on-one coaching, the time is now, because I'm going to be launching a class in September, and I'm going to drastically reduce my one-on-one spots because I want to make sure that I have enough time and attention for the groups that are going to be going through that class. As always, I am putting out free content. As always, my door is open if you want to message me or comment or send me an email. All of my contact stuff is in my profile, and we can talk. I care about you. I care about how you're doing, and I want to be a support to you if at all possible. So, talk to you later.